Erich Maria Remarque was a German writer who experienced the First World War, an experience that became the central nerve of his entire body of work. In his youth, he was drafted into army, where he was wounded and encountered not heroism, but the mechanical destruction of human life. After the war, Remarque worked as a journalist and editor, and achieved international fame with the novel All Quiet on the Western Front. With the rise of Nazis to power, his books were banned and burned, and Remarque himself was forced into exile and spending much of his life outside of Germany. This experience, war, exile, and the loss of the homeland, shaped the image of the Remarquean hero, a person without illusions, yet not without dignity. As Brian Murdoch wrote, Remarque repeatedly returns to the same type of hero, a person whose biography has been broken by history. Hello, my name is Timothy, and today we're talking about Erich Maria Remarque. The novel tells the story of a young German soldier, Paul Palmer, who together with his school friends voluntarily goes to the front, having succumbed to the patriotic propaganda. But almost immediately, illusions of heroism collapse. The front is dirt, fear, hunger, and death without reasons. We are no longer youth. We don't want to conquer the world. We are fleeing from ourselves, from our lives. Paul and his comrades learn not how to live, but how to survive. They lose their friends one by one, and gradually become emotionally detached from civilian life. A brief leave at home only intensifies this alienation. Paul realizes that he no longer belongs to the civilian world, and cannot explain what he has experienced to those who were not at war. I was a soldier, but now I'm nothing else. By the end of the novel, all of Paul's friends are dead, and he is left alone. In the final episode, Paul dies on a quiet day, about which the military report states only "all quiet on the Western Front." This phrase underscores the essential point, war erases the uniqueness of individual human life. Fritz Martini wrote that Remarque's hero is the person deprived of a future even before physical death. But what happens to those who do survive? Is it possible to go on living after catastrophe if the war was ended only formally? In this novel, war is already over, but its consequences became even more visible. The book tells the story of a group of people forced to wander from country to country, without documents, a home, or a future. The main character is Ludwig Kern, a German demigray living in constant fear of arrest and deportation. Their lives consist of humiliation, poverty, indifference from authorities, and a deep sense of complete dispensability. Against this backdrop, love arises between Ludwig and Ruth Holland, a fragile, almost impossible feeling that gives the characters the reason to keep living. The most terrible thing is not death. The most terrible thing is that you are no longer needed by them. Remarque shows that a person in distress instinctively seeks out others in the same condition, in order to preserve a sense of reality and human warmth. This is a novel about how a community of suffering people becomes the only possible form of hope. But if in exile a person still clings to home, what happens when they return to a world that is no less destroyed than they are? Three former frontline soldiers, Robert Lochon, Otto Koster, and Gottfried Letz, try to survive in post-war Germany, holding on to each other and to their small auto-repair shop. Their friendship is the last stable thing. In a world of economic crisis and political collapse, Robert falls in love with Patricia Hallman, and this love becomes a quiet protest against a broken reality. The most important thing is to have someone to return to. But happiness, once again, proves temporary. Poverty and Patricia's illness make it tragically short-lived. This novel is not directly about war, but about life after it, about an attempt to hold on to the remaining fragments of warmth and meaning. German criticism describes Remarque's hero as a typical representative of the lost generation, a person who is internally emptied and alienated from society. Malcolm Cowley grouped Remarque with Hemingway and Dos Passos, typologically and historically as writers of one shattered generation. Different styles, but the same existential stance. The former soldier, deprived of illusions and heroic justifications. In the works of Jean-Paul Sartre, we encounter the figure of the man without illusions, who creates his own essence. The difference is that in Sartre, the hero arrives at this position philosophically, in Remarque historically, through catastrophe. Modern German scholars, particularly Thomas Schneider, view Remarque as a creator of special form of war memory. Remarque does not document events. He conveys traumatic experience, the rupture between before and after, the impossibility of returning to a so-called normal life. It is precisely through individual feelings and experiences that collective memory of war is formed. Remarque's hero is a person trapped between eras. He survived the war, but didn't return to life. He lost his illusions, yet preserved the capacity for friendship, love, and compassion. And perhaps this is why his heroes remain relevant today, in a world that once again finds itself on the brink of collapse. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to ask the right questions.